There's no music.
There's no music. Great. Well, welcome to our little session here. I really intended for this class to be about like your neck. I wanted to spend a lot of time in the neck and shoulder region. And as I was planning the class, what is coming up for me in terms of like the season and the time of year and just everything on a cosmic level is much more about nourishing our backs and our kidneys because they're all connected. So we're going to do that. We're going to get into the neck a little bit and feet and all sorts of other places, but just know that the intention going into class tonight is to nourish your kidneys, which in the wintertime really quickly get depleted because it's the end of the year. It's like we're already burned out. So the kidneys are related to the water element. So I invite you throughout the movement practice tonight to just tap into that sensation of being watery, of being fluid, of enjoying the act of receiving, like you're just floating through a warm body of water, and just let that emanate throughout your practice. Couple things that we're going to need and have handy if you brought any type of tools, that's great. A roller or just a single ball will be really, really useful. And then if you have any other type of like more cylindrical foam roller, doesn't have to be this specific one, or a ball or something that you can have kind of more surface area, that'll be good too. And a pillow for the end because we're going to chill out. So get your stuff. We're going to start seated, and feel free if you guys, I'm just going to like get back in here. Yeah. You guys can kind of meander. I've got my two lovely demo friends who are joining us for class tonight. So if you're confused by what I'm doing, don't look at them because they'll probably be confused too. Just cross your legs comfortably or sit in any posture that feels just comfortable and safe and easy. And your hands can rest on your thighs. Face down is a grounding energy, and face up would be more of a stimulating energy. You can close your eyes. Take one slow, deep breath in through your nose. And then out through the mouth. You can do 3 more, just like that. Taking in just this whole moment to shift the energy from out to in. Clearing anything that's hot or stuck or sticky in the mouth. 1 more slow inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Nice and slow. And the whole opportunity again for class tonight is for you to just enjoy a rest and enjoy this really sacred act of caring for yourself, of committing to caring for your body and your mind. And the way that we do that is by connecting with our breath, so that we do less with the mind and more with the body, and they all start to work in union and just in a beautiful harmony. So in order to clear some of the mind, let's take the hands up towards your face. And you can do this with your eyes closed. You can do this with your eyes open. I want you to imagine your fingers are literally like streams of warm water. And you're going to send this water energy up as you inhale. You can just massage your whole scalp, make it feel really, really good. And then as you start to exhale, if you want to even hold your hair or just imagine that stream of water just flowing back behind you. We'll do that a few times. Each time that you inhale, you're just bringing this delicious, warm, clear water, getting rid of agitation, of distraction, of frustration, of fear, just tension. And then as you exhale, just rubbing it through the hair, through the ether, sending that water out and down. Let's do it twice more at least. Nice slow breath in. Let it feel good. And as you exhale, let it come out, clearing everything, clearing your energy, clearing your mind. Okay. Just rest with that. If you need to do one more, totally fine. You can enjoy one more round. Otherwise, just rest with that. And take another second here. Let the breath kind of re-equalize. We're trying to just be attentive to the ebb and the flow of the breath. So you never want to move so fast or so slow that your movement feels taxing, like it's straining you to breathe the way that I'm cueing you. So check in, take a deep breath in, slow exhale. Okay. And the next little just clearing energy to bring attention to the water in our bodies. This one is a favorite of mine from the Qigong practice, and it's called Qi Diver. And we're going to do a variation sitting. So imagine that you have this beautiful body of water, and we were talking about it today, Crater Lake. It's like perfect, pristine, blue and clear water. And as you inhale, I want you to imagine as you bring your hands in front of your face that you are swimming up through your own bubbles that you've created in this Crater Lake water, this beautiful, bright, vibrant blue water. And then as you exhale, you can bring your hands together. Imagine you're diving, rounding your spine really, really slowly. Just you're crushing yourself down through that delicious blue water. All the way to the bottom. You can press your hands into the floor. And then we'll do that again. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Imagine you're just sailing through to the surface, piercing through to that beautiful air above the water. And as you exhale, you're diving back down all the way through, just helping everything to nourish, to clear, to feel clean and re-energized. And then we'll do one more. Take your arms up, inhale, stretch yourself through that cool, delicious, clear water. Take a big exhale and dive down. Really feel every single bone in your back, getting a little nourishment, a little attention, a little space. We'll go hands onto the floor here. You can walk them forward with your arms straight. Just let your whole body sink into your hands. Again, it doesn't matter really the breath pattern. If you go with me, it'll be an inhale to come down and an exhale to go up, but we're moving the shoulder blades together down your back and then away, kind of puffing or arching the upper back. So the inhale, let yourself really sink and settle. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Then the exhale, push into your strong straight arms, stretch the shoulder blades apart, feel that little space in your upper back. Again, inhale, slight arch, shoulders squeeze together. And then exhale, press out, spread the back. A couple more times, just on your own. Bring your attention right to that space between the shoulder blades where you might be storing pain or grief or fear or anxiety, frustration, stiffness. And then start to make your movement a little faster, a little more rapid. Imagine you are moving yourself around this strong pillar of energy, which is the ground coming through your hands. And now you're moving your shoulders, your ribs, your chest around that strong pillar of energy. Try one or two more in this direction and then we'll pause. Go ahead and reverse. So now as you inhale, fill up the upper back, really stretch away from your hands. And as you exhale, arch slightly, bringing your shoulder blades together. Inhale, push away, fill. Exhale, squeeze and empty. Feel free to take 5, 6 more rounds, just like that. Getting lots of heat and nourishment into the upper neck and shoulders. Bring that movement to a pause. And go ahead and walk your hands back one at a time so you're coming into an upright seat. Any way you'd like, you're going to come up to standing. Preference, at least in my classes, is that you don't do that with your hands. So any way you'd like to stand up, it could be a half lunge, it could be coming into a squat, it could be rock and rolling. Any way you can do it, preferably not with your hands. Then you're going to come all the way up to stand, and we're going to warm up a little bit of our joints. Let's see if we can get far enough back here to get this whole party in the picture. Okay. So stand with your feet just hip width apart. Give a little rock forward and back, lifting up the heels and then lifting up the toes. And then bring yourself into a position that feels stable and grounded, like you don't have to effort in the leg muscles at all. Keep a softness in the back of your knee joints. You don't have to be in a squat, just softening at the knee. And we're going to do a little bit of wrist warm-ups first. So fingers interlace, elbows can touch. You're just going to start to bring movement into those wrist joints. As we're doing a lot of these, see how little you can effort. Even let your belly relax, your jaw, muscles at the back of your neck. Go the other direction. And if it feels good to you, if you want to get a lot more movement in this joint area, go faster or squeeze your hands a little bit more tightly together. Great, and then take a big breath in, reach the front of your hands forward, arms straight, all the way up and overhead. And we're going to do little rib circles as you exhale and inhale. Great. Just like that chi diver, we're moving through water. Imagine you're really trying to make a cyclone through this cool water, trying to get as much full circle movement as you can. Go ahead and reverse, go the other direction. Belly's still soft, legs are still relaxed, feet are relaxed. Okay, release the hands down. Step one foot back behind you. You can point your toe onto the ground and then circle your ankle. We'll give you a little preview of what this looks like. It's a party. If you're cool, eventually you'll get panda socks like on Amazon, and then you can be a panda circling its paws in a party. A panda paw party? I think that's what it's going to be. Go ahead and switch to the other leg. So a lot of the nourishment in the body, the chi lines or the energy lines that relate to the kidney start in the foot. So we want to bring a lot of attention to this area. We want to wake it up. We want to nourish it by kneading it and getting a lot of circulation there. So one thing that we can do that's fun and stimulating is stomp the feet. So I want you to take those feet hip width apart, soften into your hips, and you don't have to do anything with your arms if you don't want to. You could march, you could just hold yourself. I want you to start by just lightly tapping the feet flat on the ground. And then as you find a cadence, maybe that looks like a march, you can start to stomp a lot more firmly. Yep. Great. And then we're going to increase that cadence. We're not trying to strike on the heel or the toe, just flat on the foot for 10 more times. Really wake it up a little faster. Again, get grounded in this. Feel like anything that's bothering you, all your frustration, you're sending them out, you're putting them back on the ground. They're going to get composted anyway. You're mashing them deep, 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 deep in. connect into your roots. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Find a way to connect with that feeling, that groundedness. Your legs are 6, 7, 8 feet rooting into the earth. Prana, life, vitality, chi is flowing up through the center of your big toe, all the way up the legs, into your thighs, wrapping around and sending love and energy and warmth and nourishment to your kidneys and your low back. And you stay connected with this as you breathe. Take one more slow, deep breath in and let it out super slow. All right, so now that you're standing, you can reach down and have any tool of your choice for your foot. If you don't have any of these fancy tools, you can use your other foot. You could use the corner of a couch, kind of like the ball of, the corner of a dumbbell if you've got it around. You could just use a rolled up blanket, but I'm going to show you a few ways to wake up the foot. So if you're using a ball, we're going to work on the toe mound, the big toe mound, and this spot right in the center of the foot, the arch, and then at the bottom of the heel. And the movement is going to look like we're making circles, then we're doing cross fiber, then we're doing up and down, and then we're doing slow, steady compression. Okay, so these are kind of some of the terms that we'll talk about. Pick your favorite foot. Let's say it's your right foot. You're just going to place that ball or whatever, even if it's the edge of the yoga mat, underneath your ball of your foot, and start to lean in, bending the knee that you're standing on. And then you can add little movements, left or right, or again, if you're on a ball, you can keep a little weight in that foot and just move that ball around underneath. There's many different techniques. There's not usually a right or wrong. It's more about how things are feeling. What we're trying to do here is affect the nerves and the bones and the connective tissues in the foot, which if you didn't know, help us to do every single thing that we do in our life. There's so many neurons in the feet that give us information, teach us about our environment, and help us locomote. This is one way of giving back to those hardworking nerves and cells. Okay, so from the ball of the foot, you're going to take it into the arch. Most of the body weight should be on the other standing leg. And then as you go through the arch, and you can just roll forward and back, or you can find one point and then slowly start to transition your weight into the leg that's on the block. That looks great. Everybody's having a good time. If it feels good, you're generally doing it right. Oh, we got another star of this show, the Raja show. Okay, and now find that spot on the arch of your foot. You can keep your heel on the ground, and you're going to take your foot from one side to the other side. So the ball is not moving, but your foot is rotating on top of that ball. And if it starts to feel like the ball's sliding forward or back, you can always just readjust. I'm using a little bit of that downward pressure through my heel to trap the ball where it is, and then just glide it across all those tight fibers. We could do about 6 hours of different foot massage techniques. So fortunately tonight we don't have that luxury, but we're going to go through some other juicy stuff. So switch to the other foot. Start on the ball, mound, making circles, or just rolling that ball gently from left to right. I want to get our heads and I want to get our feet, which means I got to squat down. There we go. So same thing. And then find the arch and practice a little just compression where you just keep the ball where it is. And you shift your body weight straight down through the leg, into the bones, into the muscles, into the ground. You can do that same thing even on the heel. Just lean your body in. Everything else stays soft, just rooting into that ground connection, that strong earth energy. It's going to reflect, it's going to stimulate, it's going to move energy back up right into the kidneys. Okay, any other little movements here if you want to do the arch, cross fiber. Sometimes just kind of fast but gentle feels really good. Anything you want to do, have a fan day, have a free day. If you don't have these fancy tools, you can use a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball, a dog toy. I'll share a link online after class for you to get a set of your own RAD equipment, which is the ones that I use, especially like this one, which is the double roller, because you can hold one side and then work the ball under your other body parts. So little plug there. Okay, go ahead and release that ball. We're gonna do one last drill to just open up the side body and just some leg strengthening, okay, before we really flush the rest of this out. So a little wider stance than feet together, toes slightly turned out. We just want to generate a lot of stability here. And you're going to take your hands first to your chest. This is going to be, well, two options. Hands to your chest if you have a tendency of getting like a little bit dizzy. Hands to your back if you're not a dizzy person. What we're going to do is make a circle. So you'll take a deep breath in, and I'll kind of show this first. As you exhale, you're going to side bend and then come forward, side bend, inhale, come back up. Okay, so when you have hands on the back, you can often go deeper, but it kind of requires you to fold forward more. So again, if you get vertigo or get dizzy, or you just want to feel more held and contained, hands across the chest. It looks like you guys are getting the flow, so we'll just go with it. A few more times. Move slower than you think. Really try to notice how much range of movement you actually have in the back when you rely on these stable, strong legs. How much energy you can generate from those legs and transmute it into your back. So that's really the properties that we're trying to embody in winter. It's all about storage of energy, deep rest, introspection, just really allowing space and time to relax so that the body will revitalize itself in the right environment that you create. The next time that you come up, just pause, relax the hands down, the waist towards the ground. Okay. We're going to come down onto your backs. So just like you came up, any way that you want to get back down to the ground without using your hands, preferably. Fun option that you could play with maybe later. Ankles are really important for the calves, which are really important for sending blood and energy through the body. So anytime you have a chance to do a cross-legged squat or like a lunge, you can get that extra little ankle pump, which feels amazing in the body. Go ahead and lay back all the way on your back and have your toys nearby. You're going to start doing a spinal flush. Okay, so the kidney lines, they do go up the back. And especially in winter, I feel like just the joints start to get a little tight, a little stiff, a little achy. So Tool of preference for tonight is this one. It's called the Helix. If you have a cylindrical foam roller, kind of like a pillow, or even you want to use your hands on your back or your wrists, that can feel great. Once you get on your back, if you're using your hands, you'll cross your arms behind you. Okay, so it'll look like this, but underneath you on your back. When you're using this foam roller, we're going to basically flush the length of the spine. So you can start with that foam roller somewhere between your scapula, not quite on the cervical spine, and not all the way down on the ribs. Somewhere up in the middle shoulder area. Yep. These guys are great. They're like demo god and goddess. You get to play here. And again, if you want to use like a pillow, anything to just get a little bit more movement or mobility in your back, that's great. The roller is just an added plus because you're getting shearing or flushing movement of your deep, deep, deep connective tissues and the muscles. So you're rolling up and down from about your lowest rib to just before your shoulder curve. The easiest way to do that is by having your feet planted on the ground like a bridge position so that you can slightly lift your hips and then use your legs to maneuver your body forward and back in space. Ben and Caitlin, you guys must be excellent foam rollers because you know the etiquette of if you have a hood, it's got to be up. Otherwise, that stuff gets stuck in the foam roller and you suffocate yourself. So I see you, expert level. Again, there's no right or wrong here. And as much as this is a guided class, there's space for you to just really feel and explore. Couple of landmarks that you can look for when you get to the space that's between your shoulder blades. If you want, you can take your hands and inhale, stretch them out wide like a little T-bar, or bring the elbows in front of your face and reach the arms up overhead. You can do this one arm at a time or both. You'll find that helps to move the scapula in different ways to get different access to the deep knots and tissues that often just get stuck there. You can also bring one arm across the body in that position. And it doesn't have to be just between the shoulder blades. You can slide it down a few inches, that big band of tight muscles across kind of the middle part of your upper back. That can feel really nourishing as well. And then again, slide down maybe an inch or two, just so you're getting to that area right as the ribs start to go away, right as the divot starts to occur from your middle back to your low back. This can be a really sensitive spot. This is where your kidneys are, your adrenal glands. There's so many other things, but we're literally just juicing those tissues, just squeezing them, providing a little nourishment through compression. Find a good spot that feels like it makes you feel aware that there is a tension there in the body. So if that needs to go up or down, or if you're on a pillow and you just start kind of readjusting, find a good place that feels like, oof, I want more pressure there. And bring your feet slightly wider than your hips. You can do whatever you want with your hands. Back and neck should be kind of relaxed on the ground. Take a deep breath in. And on an exhale, you'll bring both of your knees over to one side. You'll feel, especially if you have a foam roller or kind of a more firm pillow, this gentle massage in a really delicious spot right on the outside of the spine, not quite on your hip. It's in the area just on the outside of your low back. This is many other muscles too, but it's called the QL. She gets angry. She's overworked, very underpaid. So as you shift from side to side now with your knees, you can use your breath to come up, use your breath to go back to the other side. Might even slide up or down on that rolling device. Just find a place that feels really nourishing. You could stay there for a breath or two, or you could just transition side to side. Just trying to flush blood and circulation and nourishment to this area. Then bring both of your knees back to vertical. If you need to totally readjust, find a different tool or a different position, that's great. We're going to slide either that same foam roller or a ball, if you have one close by to you, and go all the way up on the back. So there's a space that you'll feel right when your shoulder blades start to curve up, and then it turns into kind of the top of your shoulders or the very base of your neck. So on your body, it would be just an inch or two below the C7 spine, which is that big knobby part of your neck. If you're using a ball, you want to get that to one side of your spine, so not directly in the middle. And now, again, with your hips slightly lifted, weight into your feet, you can push yourself not only slightly forward and back, but you can actually raise your hips a little higher, like a bridge pose, starting to bring more of that weight of the ball into the trapezius, the top trapezius muscle, where you notice that you're holding your shoulders during a tense meeting, or if you're really cold and you're walking, these muscles turn on and they get really, really tight very quickly. How are we feeling, guys? Good? Loving it? There's a couple different movements that you can do. You can see behind me, Lauren is doing kind of a quicker and shorter harmonic. She's kind of rocking forward and back, whereas Ben is doing slower and steadier flushing, just like squeezing a toothpaste, just moving in and out, up and down. Any arm positions that you want to be in here to facilitate greater ease or greater enjoyment is great. Arms crossed can be a really simple position. It opens up the muscles in the upper back. It helps you to just give yourself a hug, be present here. Or you can keep exploring with your arms moving up over your head, taking the arms wide. You get to really dig for some gems here. They're there, I promise. About 5 or 6 more breaths. And if you decide that you need to move up or down on the back, that's great. You can continue that flushing movement down into the middle part of your shoulder, or even bring that ball or roller just on the very top of your shoulder before you get to the neck. Then go side to side. Knowing that we are going to go a little bit higher towards the neck in this next little pose. So just to point this out, whether you're using one ball or the dual, or you have the foam roller, preferably a ball. I think the foam roller will be a little bit intense on the neck if you're not using this helix one. But any ball will do. A lacrosse ball is great, or a big dog toy ball like this. We're going to basically place one of those not on the neck and not on the top of the vertebra, but just at the base of the skull. So if you find your hairline, you have your spine, it goes just where the skull starts to curve, and it's just to the side of that. Again, this is one reason I love this tool, because it's like perfect for your head, for your noggin. You're going to place that on the ground and lay back down. It might take a second just to find, this optimal position that doesn't have pain or tension. Could also be very sensitive early on. And now you get to experiment here with range of motion, less with your hips and more with your head. So you can slightly lift the chin up. You can always readjust if the ball just slid down into the curve of your neck. Once you get it back into that little round part of the skull, you can tuck your chin down. The whole time you're letting your head stay heavy and connected to that ball on the ground. You can start to look to the left very slightly or subtly. Look to the right. Make little circles with your head and neck. There's so many amazing muscles that connect your head to your body. All the nerves, even the muscles of your face, how they connect to the muscles that help you walk through space. If there's any remaining just anxiety or just unease that you had through your day, I invite you to reconnect with that slow and intentional breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the nose. Let this simple act be a way for you to accept whatever it is that's been going on, to accept your fear, your pain, your agitation, even to accept challenge or joy or blessings or bounty. Take it all in and feel it in this part of your head. Feel that stress going away as these muscles get massaged and nourished. Feel the acceptance of that gift really landing deeply in your nervous system. You're telling the body that it's okay to slow down, to receive, and to hibernate. Any other little movements here, if you want to move that ball or roller even more onto the lower part of the neck. If this doesn't have pain for you, that's okay. If you're getting a little tension or any sharpness, certainly skip on from this. But if it's in the sort of middle of your neck, you can also do the same thing by turning your head from side to side. This way you're just getting some of those flexor muscles that work so hard to keep our heads up and on the shoulders, especially as we're spending time on the computer and devices and looking out. In the next breath or so, bring your chin slightly to your chest. Take a little bit of the weight out of that ball, and then just replace your head and shoulders back on the ground. And enjoy this moment where you don't have that additional feedback or input. You can just feel sensations, feel movement or stillness, feel the solitude of this type of practice. Revel in that sense of just feeling and retention. I want you to take a deep breath in and reach your arms up for the sky. And as you exhale, lift your chin to your chest, reach all the way to the back of your thighs. See if you can just hold the back of your knees. Your head will be off the ground, but it's kind of like a counterbalance. You're just with straight arms kind of hanging. Your legs might come off the ground too, that's fine. If you can get your hands to the front of your shins, that's even better because then you have a bone feedback point. And by pushing your shins forward in space, you start to rock and roll, but with very little effort from your deep abs. This is just bones moving through space. See if you can get to a point where you're almost balancing just on your sacrum. And then roll, keep pushing your shins forward, your legs forward, so you can roll all the way up. With as little effort as possible. Yeah, that's it. Close. Okay, place the feet on the ground and take your hands just behind your shoulders with the fingers facing your back pockets. We're going to take a deep breath in and really start to puff the chest up, look up, squeeze the collarbones back. And when you exhale, hollow or round the spine, round your shoulders, bring your chin to your chest. Do that about 5 times. Breathe in, look up, puff the arch of your spine. Squeeze the arm bones together behind you. And exhale, round, curl, relax. A few more on your own cycles of breath, however it feels good and natural to you. You're energizing the arms, staying connected to the feeling of ground and stability through your hips, where your feet connect with the earth. Take one more full cycle. Big breath in to arch, stretch. Big breath out to process, to feel, to receive. Okay. Walk your hands forward so you can bring yourself back upright. And then you can either bring one leg behind you and one leg bent in front, or you could sit more in a half cross-leg position or full cross-leg, whatever is going to give you the most comfort and support here. We're going to play with the calf muscles, okay? So I'm going to show you the down view. In this position, it's nice because my back hip, I can push into the ground to get a little bit higher so that I'm working with my hands on this area. I don't have to effort. If I'm sitting back, sometimes it feels far away. So that's one benefit of this pose. With your thumbs just soft and connected, you're going to find the shin bone. So if you find the ankle bone and you go up, you'll feel the shin. And you'll just slide down just right underneath that edge of the shin bone. And now using mostly straight arms, take a deep breath in, relax your shoulders. And as you exhale, you can just lean forward into the thumb point. On the inhale, you lean back. You can walk up 1/2 inch. On the exhale, you can lean forward. This could be faster or slower depending on what feels natural for you. We often go so fast doing everything. There's so much magic, right? When you just take a walk through your neighborhood or a forest, of course. So much more magic that we are able to experience and witness and observe when we go slow. Let each footprint, so to speak, in your hands be an opportunity to observe, to listen, to tap into the energy that's already there. It just needs to be experienced. So we're going up and down that same line right underneath the shin a few times at your own pace. find a place that feels really particularly tense or tender, you're welcome to stay there. Just offer your presence. It might feel good to invite a little movement. So what we can do is bounce. I'm moving my hands, but I'm also really moving my hips to do that bounce. Sometimes we just need to wake things up, to move them, to shake. Sometimes that can be enough just to awaken that energy and let it do its own thing. So let's get back down towards the ankle, the bone of the medial or inside part of your ankle. And we're going to get back into the foot. So one hand, let's say whichever hand is closest to the leg that's bent, that grips the ankle bone, just a nice solid 5-finger grip. And then the other hand is now going to become a foot sandwich. And here's why I like this position also, because I can lift my hips up and apply a lot of weight down into the foot. So we woke up this part of the body quite a bit with the ball and the stomping. Now it's kind of like we're doing a little bit more of the detail work. You raked the garden, but now you're gonna, apply some mulch around the outsides. You're really trying to just plant like really particular bulbs for the winter, so they'll come out in the spring. You gotta get a little bit more precise. So keep using the hand all over the arch and the ball and the heel of the foot. What's cool about the foot in terms of the skin and all this connective tissue is it doesn't mind skin burn. So even if you don't have socks on, you can slide your hand along the foot much more comfortably than, say, your thigh or certainly your arm or your chest. Get into all those spots that feel like, oh, just tired. Squeeze the toothpaste out. I'm going to chew up the calf just a little bit. So imagine that you're grabbing hold of a big loaf of sourdough bread. And your whole hand is making contact with this calf muscle, even with the thumbs on the underside. So it would kind of look like, like this. Yep. You're just going up and down, squeezing all of that sourdough bread, like you're going to smush it into a ball and then put that in a bowl of clam chowder in another bowl of sourdough bread. That's what we're going for. Really rich nourishment. Okay. Now, while we're here, bring that back leg up, or if you were sitting like this, just bend your front leg. And we're going to work on the opposite arm, the opposite tricep, in fact. So we've done this leg. This leg now is just going to be a tool. So I'm using the front of my knee and slightly the front of my shin. And I'm going to work this line from my armpit all the way up to the elbow. And there's little points on either side that'll feel really tender and delicate and wonderful. But this also you can shear. This is also part of the winter, we'll call it the winter method. These are part of our digestion meridians as well. So we just want to squeeze all the toothpaste out, anything that's left. So while we're resting, that new energy can come in. There might be a spot where you feel like, oh, so good, I want more of that. Instead of shearing, pause and then move your arm side to side. Or straighten the elbow and then bend the elbow. You can also rotate your arm bone. These are all different ways that you find a point in the muscle and you use the structure around that muscle to generate massage when you don't have hippie friends to do it for you. I like to get really lazy, so I don't even like to use my own arm to do this. I'm using my other hand as a brace. Yeah. So this arm's totally relaxed, totally receiving. You might get some juice up on the shoulder as well, upper arm, anything that feels just good. Okay. One or two more little passes. If you find a good one, breathe into it. Shaking, bouncing, wiggling, all great. Okay. And then we're going to take that hand to the opposite leg and clear both of those lines. So just little pats down that leg, all the way from the hip to the toes. And then one swipe out through the big toe, back into the ground. Without your hands, switch. Now we get to work this foot and this calf. We're starting just with thumbs right underneath the shin. Take a deep breath in, mostly straight arms, and exhale, pour the weight right down through the pads of your thumbs. What's great about these points is that they're soft. They're not super sharp. So we wouldn't use the tops of the thumbs unless you're really going for more of that sharp, very, very, very tight sensation. Most of the time, these muscles want soft. Couple passes up towards the knee joint, especially in there. It's kind of nice to knead a little bit more. Once you get to the end range of your point of pressure, you can do little rolls or those bounces that we talked about. You can go right back down. I guess one of my favorite parts of body work is kind of like one of my favorite parts of winter. It's that it's time to like really go into the creative parts of yourself because there's less distractions. And for me, one of the most creative ways that I connect with myself is by doing body work. I always am moving and discovering and exploring how my body likes to feel. So this can be just an invitation too, to like color outside the lines, explore what feels really good, what feels different, what definitely doesn't feel good to you. Okay, front hand connects to the ankle. Other hand, foot sandwich or smashing. If you can't get the height that you need, you could also work on moving that leg away from you. So as you lean, there's just a little bit more distance. I know Erin makes bread. Look at her. She's got kneading down. She's like, I'm making focaccia out of these feet. Herbs and rosemary and olive oil. We're on a bread kick here. We need carbohydrates. We're freezing to death up here. And again, you don't have to go fast. You don't have to knead with speed. You can take a really slow, long draw. That's a great way to just help your nerves understand, like, hey, it's cool to relax. We're already stimulated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, full pressure is great. One more breath cycle for whatever feels good. A little bit more chewing up the leg. And then we're going to step that back foot forward. So you're in this kind of half cross-legged position. If it's more comfortable, you can always do this in a lunge too. That way you get a lot more body weight, but it's nice to stay seated as a start point. The target here is the back of the arm. My acupuncturist calls this the forgotten limb, or like the forgotten space in the body. We don't really think about it. We don't see it. It's certainly hard to work on this area. These are pretty important spots for your main central organs. So spend a little extra time here. Outside hand can be a mother or just a support. Can also be extra stability or extra weight, anchoring that hand or wrist down into your knee. Especially if you find a really good gremlin. Fix the arm where it is and then just straighten, bend, rotate, or rotate. Woo! Some magic there, huh? Yikes. Really strong. Again, we just accept. We accept what's there. We face it. We receive it. We sit with it. We store it. And hopefully we recycle it. So whatever that energy is that needs to move out, know that it'll take care of itself. If you just accept it, let it move. All right. So this hand clears the front leg that we just did, a couple pats. And then a swipe all the way down out the big toe. Great. That same position that we came up in, we're gonna go back down. So feet are on the ground. This time hands anchor at the front of your shins. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, round your spine and lean back. You might even roll back onto your sacrum over your tailbone. If you can get your arms straight, that's the best because it's really easy from there. Walk your feet until you're just maybe hovering on your toes. And as you go back, go slow. Keep the counterbalance. Let it feel good, like a massage from your hips all the way up to your shoulders, to your neck. Make big circles with your knees, taking them together and then wide, back together. And then our final little movement here is a combination of twists. So I'll show this first so you can see it, or actually if you don't want to look up, that's totally fine. Let's say you take your right knee into your chest, and you leave your left leg all the way extended out on the ground. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, let that right knee come as far over to your right shoulder as you can. And if you want, you can hold your shin with your right hand, or the inside or the outside of your foot with your right hand. You can start to move the leg where it is, moving your ankle over your hip, or starting to straighten or bend that knee. And it's great that your left hip is lifting up. Don't fight it. Let yourself rotate or wrap. Take another deep breath in. And now as you exhale, bring your left hand across to your right foot. And then start to bring that whole right leg over and across your body. Stretch your right arm back behind you. So now you're in a big twist. Again, it doesn't have to feel any certain way, but it should feel good. We'll just stay mostly still on this side. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, rebend the right knee, take it across the body. Grab the right foot with the right hand. Do that same thing. Maybe you're able to straighten your right leg, maybe not. Maybe your left hip is lifting and that's good or bad. It could be either. Just feeling what is the best, biggest way that you can make your body move and take up space. Exhale to switch, twist across. Checking in that we have time, we're good to go. So once you come back to center, switch the leg that you had in the bind or in the twist, so left knee up to your chest. As you bring that knee towards your shoulder or towards the ground, you can take your left hand to your calf, your ankle, the outside of your foot. Deep breath in. Stay for the exhale. Work on either straightening that leg or just pulling the knee closer into the ground. Notice how much space and movement you're getting in that low back region. Your exhale takes the leg all the way across the body, right hand to the top of your left foot. You could keep the knee bent or straighten it. Left hand reaches back behind. Use your own breath to do one more round in each position. We're just letting all of these threads, all of the nerves, all of the emotions, the energetic lines twist and stretch and reach and get full and empty all at the same time. The next time that you bring your knee close to your chest, go ahead and draw the other one to join it. We'll finish class tonight with what's called a calf pump. So flex both of your feet up towards your toes. See if you can strongly, or towards your face, strongly bring your toes up towards your shins, and then point the feet. We're going to do that not as fast as you can, but as strongly as you can in both directions. Up and down, up and down, up and down, about 10 more times. Even if you can, hold it for just an extra little squeeze in between. Last 2, 1, and then rest. Let one leg come to the ground, the other leg come to the ground. Push your shoulder blades together so you can lift the neck and readjust. You can push your hips up off of the ground one at a time. Just readjust your back. Invite a little arch into your low back. That's where this beautiful energy that we've cultivated throughout the whole practice can gather like a reservoir of just nourishment for your kidneys, for your low back. As you just let your breath ebb and flow on its own, just visualize that you are once again floating effortlessly in that beautiful, warm pool of glacier, beautiful blue water. Your time here tonight and throughout the rest of the next few days, weeks, even months of winter, and just be intended to rest, to nourish, and to go in. So I'm going to let you just float in this beautiful pool of your own energy and sign off from here. I hope that you stay for a few minutes just to enjoy that pool by yourself. It's a huge honor and blessing to be with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an amazing night. Bye.